Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything around you, your room, the sky, the stars, even the entire universe, only exists because you are looking at it. But the moment you turn away, it disappears. Sounds like science fiction, right? But what if I told you that this isn't just some wild fantasy? What if this is what reality actually is? Quantum physics has uncovered something deeply unsettling. Something that suggests the universe might not exist unless it is being observed. And the more we try to understand it, the stranger it gets. Before we dive into this mind-bending mystery, make sure to subscribe to Cosmic Buzzin and hit the notification bell, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you see reality forever. Now let's begin. In 1801, a physicist named Thomas Young performed a simple experiment that shattered everything we thought we knew about reality. It was called the Double-Slit Experiment. The setup: a beam of light was sent through two tiny slits onto a screen behind them. If light were just tiny particles, like tiny bullets, we should see two clear lines on the screen. But that's not what happened. Instead, the light created an interference pattern, suggesting that it was behaving like a wave. This was already weird, but then things got even weirder. Scientists placed a measuring device near the slits to see which path each photon was taking. And that's when reality seemed to glitch. The interference pattern vanished. Suddenly the light behaved like tiny particles again. It was as if the mere act of observing the photons changed how they behaved. But how could that be? How could something behave like a wave when unobserved and suddenly switch to particles when we watch? It was almost as if the universe knew it was being watched and changed itself accordingly. This single experiment was so disturbing that even Albert Einstein struggled to accept it. He famously said, "I like to think the moon is there even when I'm not looking at it." But was he right? Or does the moon and everything else only exist because we are watching? And if that's true, then what happens when we stop watching? If the universe only exists when we observe it, what happens when we're not looking? To explore this unsettling question, let's turn to one of the most famous thought experiments in quantum physics, Schrodinger's cat. Imagine a cat inside a sealed box. Inside the box, there's also a radioactive atom, a Geiger counter, and a vial of poison. If the atom decays, the Geiger counter detects it, triggers a mechanism and breaks the vial, releasing the poison and killing the cat. But if the atom does not decay, the cat remains alive. Here's where it gets bizarre. According to quantum mechanics, until we open the box and look inside, the cat is in a state of superposition. It is both alive and dead at the same time. It only chooses a state the moment we observe it. This isn't just a strange quirk of an imaginary cat. This is how particles behave in the quantum world. They exist in multiple states until something forces them to make a choice. But here's the real mind-bender. What if the same principle applies to the entire universe? What if reality itself is in a state of superposition, existing in multiple forms with infinite possibilities until we observe it? What if, like Schrödinger's cat, the universe is both there and not there at the same time until consciousness collapses it into existence? This idea is at the heart of what some scientists call quantum realism. The possibility that the universe doesn't exist as an independent entity, but is instead something that only comes into being through observation. But if that's true, then here's the terrifying question: who or what was observing the universe before we existed? If reality only exists when observed, then what exactly is the universe when no one is looking? The answer might be more unsettling than you think. Some scientists believe that the universe is nothing more than pure information. Let's break this down. At its core, everything in the universe, every atom, every planet, every star, is made up of energy and information. The fundamental particles that make up reality don't have definite properties until they are measured. They exist as probabilities, mathematical possibilities rather than physical objects. Think of it like a video game. When you're playing an open-world game, the entire world isn't actually rendered all at once. Instead, the game engine only generates the parts of the world you're currently looking at. The rest? It's just data, stored in the system, waiting to be called into existence when needed. Now, what if the universe works the same way? Some physicists argue that the fabric of reality is not truly physical but digital, a vast system of information that only becomes real when it is observed. This idea, known as the participatory universe hypothesis, was first proposed by physicist John Wheeler. He suggested that the universe doesn't exist in a concrete form until it is measured, meaning that reality is fundamentally incomplete without an observer. But this leads to a chilling question. If everything exists as information until observed, who or what was the first observer? Did the universe wake up only when the first conscious being appeared? Or is there something else watching? Something that has always been there? If the universe only exists when observed, then what or who is doing the observing? Could it be us? Could consciousness itself be the mysterious force that brings reality into existence? Some scientists and philosophers believe this might be the case. This idea, called quantum consciousness, suggests that our minds don't just experience reality, they actually create it. Consider this. Every time we observe something, quantum particles choose a definite state. But why? Could it be that our awareness is what forces reality to solidify? A famous thought experiment called the Wigner's friend paradox takes this even further. Imagine a scientist named Wigner has a friend inside a sealed lab where they perform a quantum experiment. The friend sees a definite result, but to Wigner, who is outside the lab, the experiment still exists in a superposition. Both results exist at the same time. This suggests something mind-blowing. Reality is not absolute. Instead, it could be personal. Each observer collapses their own version of reality. If this is true, then the universe might not exist in any definite form. Instead, it's a vast field of probabilities that only take shape when we look at them. But this raises an even stranger question. If consciousness brings reality into existence, does that mean the universe didn't truly exist before life appeared? Or could there be a universal consciousness, something bigger than us, that has always been observing? And if reality is shaped by observation, then how much control do we have over it? Could our thoughts and perceptions actually change the nature of the universe itself? If reality only exists when observed, then how much influence do we, as observers, actually have over it? Could it be that our thoughts and perceptions don't just interpret the universe, but actively shape it? It sounds like something out of science fiction, but some experiments suggest this might not be far from the truth. One of the most intriguing studies was conducted at Princeton University's PEAR Lab, the Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research. Over nearly 30 years, researchers studied whether human intention could influence the outcomes of random events. They used random number generators, machines that generate unpredictable sequences of numbers, like flipping a digital coin. When participants simply focused their thoughts on influencing the machine, something strange happened. The random results became slightly less random. It was as if human consciousness was nudging reality itself. But it doesn't stop there. In 1998, physicists at the Weizmann Institute of Science ran an experiment similar to the famous Double-Slit Experiment, but with a twist. They found that the more an observer watched the particles, the stronger the effect on their behavior. This suggests that the mere act of observation does not just passively measure reality, it actively alters it. Now think about this on a larger scale. If human consciousness can influence tiny particles and random events, what else could we be affecting without realizing it? Could our collective beliefs, emotions, and expectations be shaping the world around us? And if so, does that mean we're not just watching reality, we're participating in its creation? If observation can influence reality at the quantum level, could it be happening on a much larger scale? Could the universe itself be subtly responding to our awareness, changing in ways we don't yet understand. This idea might sound far-fetched, but strange coincidences and anomalies in physics hint that something deeper is going on. Take the Mandela effect, for example. It's a phenomenon where large groups of people vividly remember events or facts differently than recorded history. Some recall a world where the Monopoly man had a monocle, he doesn't, or where the Berenstain Bears were spelled as the Berenstain Bears. While skeptics dismiss this as false memory, others wonder, could it be a sign that reality itself is shifting based on collective human perception? Then there's the observer effect in cosmology. Some physicists believe that the early universe, moments after the Big Bang, may have been influenced by the fact that intelligent observers, us, would eventually appear. This idea is linked to the anthropic principle, which suggests that the universe's laws are finely tuned for life because we are here to observe them. But let's take this one step further. If the universe is changing based on our awareness, then what happens when we start questioning its nature? Could the act of exploring these mysteries actually make reality behave in new, unexpected ways? What if, by simply thinking about whether the universe only exists when we look at it, we are triggering something we don't fully understand? If the universe changes when we observe it, could it also be observing us? Could reality itself be aware of our presence in some mysterious way? This sounds like something out of a sci-fi thriller, but it's an idea that some scientists take seriously. In fact, there's even a theory for it, panpsychism. The idea that consciousness isn't just a product of the brain, but something fundamental to the universe itself. Here's where things get really strange. In 2005, physicist John Wheeler proposed a disturbing thought experiment called the delayed choice experiment. It suggests that how we observe something now can influence what happened in the past. Imagine sending a particle toward a set of detectors. It has to decide whether to act as a particle or a wave. But here's the catch. The choice of how to measure it is made after the particle has already passed through. And yet, reality seems to rewrite itself as if it knew in advance how it would be measured. Now, let's take that idea and apply it to the entire universe. If reality only takes shape when observed, could it be that the universe is adjusting itself based on our awareness? Could the cosmos be, in some incomprehensible way, conscious of us? Ancient cultures often believed the universe was alive, that the stars, the planets, and even time itself had some kind of awareness. Today, some scientists are reconsidering these ancient ideas, asking, is the universe more than just matter and energy? Is it something alive? And if so, what happens when we ask too many questions? If the universe only exists when we observe it, could it be hiding things when we're not looking? Could reality itself be programmed to conceal certain truths until we are ready? Or worse, until we look too closely? This idea isn't just speculation. Scientists have noticed strange patterns in physics that suggest we might not be seeing the full picture of reality. One example is the quantum Zeno effect, a bizarre phenomenon where simply watching a particle can prevent it from changing. Imagine an unstable atom that should decay over time. If left alone, it follows the expected rules of physics. But if you keep measuring it frequently enough, it seems to freeze, refusing to decay at all. It's as if reality is pausing itself the moment we focus on it. Now expand this idea beyond atoms. What if this applies to the universe itself? There's another mystery that raises even more questions: the missing dark matter problem. Scientists believe that 85% of the matter in the universe is dark, meaning we can't see it, touch it, or measure it directly. The only reason we think it's there is because of its gravitational effects. But every attempt to detect dark matter directly has failed. It's almost as if the moment we try to observe it, reality refuses to reveal it. What if there are hidden aspects of the universe that we are never meant to see? Could it be that the act of looking shapes not just what we observe, but what we are allowed to observe? And if that's true, then what happens if we push past these hidden boundaries? If the universe only exists when we observe it, and if reality hides things when we look too closely, then here's the next chilling question. Is the universe actively preventing us from uncovering its true nature? Some of the greatest scientific mysteries seem to lead us toward an invisible wall, a point where answers become impossible to reach. Take the speed of light, for example. It's the ultimate cosmic speed limit. No matter how hard we try, we can't break it. Could this be a safeguard, ensuring that we never move fast enough to see reality from the outside? Then there's the simulation hypothesis, the idea that we might be living in a hyper-advanced simulation. If this were true, wouldn't the system have built-in limitations to prevent us from detecting its true nature? And isn't it strange that whenever we try to test the edges of reality, whether in quantum physics, dark matter, or even consciousness itself, we hit unexplainable paradoxes? But here's where things get even stranger. Some researchers have explored the idea that the universe could glitch when we look too closely. Ever experienced a weird déjà vu, a moment that felt like reality was repeating itself for no reason? What if these aren't just random brain errors, but evidence of the universe subtly correcting itself when we begin noticing inconsistencies? And if the universe does have protective measures, then what happens when we push too far? Could there be a point where looking too deeply triggers something we were never meant to see? If the universe only exists when we observe it, then what happens when no one is watching at all? Does reality simply pause, like a video game when you step away? Does it collapse into nothingness? Or does it continue to exist in some unknown, unobservable state, one we can never truly understand? Some scientists believe the answer might lie in quantum decoherence. This concept suggests that when something is not observed, it exists as a wave of possibilities with every possible outcome coexisting at once. But when an observer interacts with it, reality chooses one definite version. If this is true, then when you leave a room, the objects inside don't just sit there untouched. They return to a state of probabilities until you look at them again. The entire universe could be doing the same thing, flickering between existence and non-existence based on who or what is observing it. But here's where things get even more unsettling. What if something else is always watching? If our consciousness is required for the universe to exist, could there be a deeper, more fundamental observer ensuring that reality remains stable? Some have speculated that this could be the universe itself, an advanced intelligence, or even a cosmic consciousness beyond our understanding. And if observation truly creates reality, then here's the final chilling question. What happens when the last observer disappears? Does the universe fade into nothingness? Does reality reset, waiting for new consciousness to emerge? Or is there something or someone that keeps it all going, whether we are here to see it or not? What if the reason reality exists when we observe it is because we are the universe observing itself? Think about it. Every atom in your body was once part of a star. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon in your DNA, it all came from the cosmos itself. We are not separate from the universe, we are made of it. But here's the truly mind-bending part. If the universe only comes into being when it is observed, and if we are part of the universe, then could it be that the universe created us so that it could observe itself? This idea isn't just poetic, it's backed by serious scientific and philosophical thought. Some physicists argue that consciousness is not just an accidental byproduct of evolution, but a fundamental aspect of reality itself. Theoretical physicist John Archibald Wheeler called this the participatory universe. The idea that the universe is incomplete without conscious beings to observe it. If this is true, then you are not just a tiny speck in a vast, uncaring cosmos. You are the eyes of the universe. Your thoughts, your awareness, your ability to wonder about existence itself, these might not just be personal experiences. They might be the universe's way of understanding itself. But if that's true, Tom, then what happens when humanity is gone? Will the universe go dark, ceasing to exist? Or will something else somewhere continue to watch? If the act of observation gives the universe form, then who or what is the ultimate observer? This question has haunted physicists, philosophers, and deep thinkers for centuries. And the more we explore it, the more reality itself seems to resist giving us a clear answer. But what do you think? Is reality truly dependent on observation, or is there something deeper going on? Could the universe itself be aware of our presence? Drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you believe. And if you enjoyed diving into this mind-bending mystery, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Cosmic Buzz-In, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of the strangest mysteries in the universe. Until next time, keep questioning reality, because the more we look, the stranger it seems to become.